Welcome to the Psalms Compressed. Today we will reflect on the truth that we will find in Psalm 11. And this psalm, attributed to David, offers us a powerful message of trust and faith in God amidst difficulties. It is a call to recognize where our true refuge lies, especially when the foundations of our world seems to be crumbling. And as I've said before, many of these psalms, they are a cry out to God. It is about people in distress. They are often very heartfelt pleas for a change. And here, David begins with a declaration, "In the Lord I take refuge." And this statement is not just a proclamation, but a firm stand against the fear and despair. In a world where the wicked seems to prevail and the righteous, they are under attack, David reminds us that our safety and our security, they are found in God alone. When friends or circumstances suggest that we should flee, we are to remember that our refuge is not in isolation or escapism, but in the presence of the Lord. And I know this is not always easy to stand firm on His word, but that is what we are told to do. In verses 2 and 3, they paint a vivid picture on the threats facing the upright. The image of arrows being shot from shadows speaks to the hidden dangers and malicious intents that often confronts us. When the very foundations of society, justice, truth, and righteousness, are being undermined, the questions arise: what can the righteous do? And yes, what can we do? And there are so many histories of people who have been let down by governments, societies, etc. And it is an overwhelming feeling. But what to do? Well, if we look at Ephesians 6:11-18, there it is said, "Put on God's complete armor. Then you will be able to stand firm against the devil's trickery." The warfare we are engaged in, you see, isn't against flesh and blood. It's against the leaders, against the authorities, against the powers that rule the world in this dark age, against the wicked spiritual elements in the heavenly places. Take the shield of faith. If you got that, you will be able to quench all the flaming arrows of the evil one. David's response to this question, what can we do, is not found in earthly solution, but in the sovereignty of God, as just pointed out in reading from Ephesians. Verse 4 declares, "The Lord is in His holy temple. The Lord's throne is in heaven." And this is a profound reminder that no matter what, God is still in control. He sees all, He knows all, and is actively involved in His creation. His position on the throne signifies His ultimate authority and power over all situation. Verses 5 and 6 differentiate between the righteous and the wicked. God examines everyone, and His judgment is just. The wicked, those who love violence and injustice, will face His wrath. This is not just a future promise, but a present reality that God hates wickedness and will act against it. For the righteous, this is a call to trust in God's justice and continue in righteousness, knowing that God sees and He cares. Revenge, well, that belongs to God alone. I know that. But in some cases, how I would like to see the cruel and the wicked people facing His wrath, even though I know forgiveness is a virtue. But what will happen? It is up to God. Then finally, verse 7 here, it offers a beautiful assurance. For the Lord is righteous. He loves righteous deeds. The upright shall behold his face. This is the ultimate hope for the believer. Our trust in God is not in vain. His righteousness ensures that justice will prevail, and those who remain upright will experience his presence and favor. Psalm 11 calls out us to a deeper trust in God as our refuge. It challenges us to stand firm in our faith, even when the foundations around us seems to be crumbling. So let us remember that God is sovereign. He loves justice, and he will ultimately vindicate the righteous. And as we navigate the challenges of our lives, I hope we will always find our refuge in the Lord and live in the assurance of his righteous rule.